Hello, welcome to this YouTube channel. My name is Abdullah Akwemi Falade. In this YouTube content, I would like to share with you how you can clean data using Power Query. I know you are aware that the large proportion of data analyst time is being spent during the data cleaning process. Regardless of any tools you are using, be it Power BI, be it Microsoft Excel, be it a Google Sheet, be it a Tableau, Python, R. As a data analyst, you spend most of your time cleaning data. But the good news is you can clean this data better using the Power Query. I'm not saying you cannot use any other tool, but I can tell you that you can use Power Query to clean your data better. So this is a sample data set. The data is not all that messy like you could assume, because most times in the real life situation, data are usually messy. Like they are usually like a rag which you need to clean gently. But to some extent, we are just trying to use this to explain the concept of cleaning data wrangling, using the Power Query. And this is so important because the Power Query is also embedded. The Power Query could be an add-ins into the Microsoft Excel if you don't have it already. But in the higher version of Microsoft Office, you can always have your the Power Query. But in the Power BI, the Power Query is already embedded inside the Power BI. So it is through the Power Query you're going to import the data, takes you to the navigator, do your data ETL extraction, transformation, and loading before you now go on with your visualization in Power BI. So that is why it's very important for you to learn this. And at the end of this video, there is something very important I would like to share with you. So this is a sample data set. Like I said earlier, it's not as messy as you could think. It's a sales data transaction. So when you have a data, it's always good to get yourself familiarized. You take your time to see what the data is all about. So you can see this data. We have the order ID, the role ID, the order dates, and the likes. And of course, you can also use the Shift Control Right to highlight on the columns that you're having, and you can have it as a transpose just for you to have the visualization of the number of columns you have it. So as a transpose, I have this. So I have 21 columns. You can see the count. At the count, we have 21 columns. You can see the count here. So we have 21 columns. So from here, you can see the likely content of this: the role ID, the order date, the ship mode, the ship date, the customer ID, the customer names, etc. So with this, you can easily see things based on what could be in each of the columns. Now, our focus is not on this. I just want to tell you that it's always good to do a kind of a data inspection whereby you'll be able to know what you should, the number of columns you're having, and what you're likely to find in them. So I won't like to take much time on that. So I will go to the Insert tab, and I will go to the Data tab, and I will click on the From Table Range. So this will take me straight down. So it's asking me, is this my data? It has captured it automatically from A1 to U, 9,995, and it's asking me whether this table has headers. Yes, of course. The headers are the columns which I copied the other time and do the transpose. They are the column names, they are the labels. So I'll click OK, and boom, it takes me straight down to the Power Query. If you check some of my previous videos, this is not my first time of using Power Query, but this is my first time of using Power Query to explain the concept of data wrangling. And of course, you can see now we have table 3. I can change this to data ranked. That is a data that has been cleaned. Data ranked. So changing the name, here it also changes. Now, when it comes to data cleaning, you know what it entails. Data cleaning entails you trying to remove duplicate, split to columns where necessary, replace some values, remove some columns, remove some rows that are relevant. Try to make sure that the data are in the right type, the data type. You try to unpivot some columns if needs be, and you can do the transpose in some cases. So you can check my previous video where I was able to explain how to, from the pivot table to unpivot in Power Query. So I've explained that concept. So in this, I want to take you through the data cleaning process. Now I'm now in the Power Query. So the Power Query also, it looks in form of what we have in Microsoft Excel. We have the file, we have the home, we have the transform, we have the add column, we have the view. So at the home, you can see that we have the close and load. So when I'm done now, I can easily close and load to a particular point. So if I have more data from the source, here I will be able to refresh and add. So now let's look at some columns that are relevant. So I think this role ID is irrelevant to me. I'll just try and remove it. So in that case, I can easily remove this row. I can right click this role ID and I remove. As I remove, the steps is being recorded here. So if I don't need that, if I don't want to do that, I can do a shortcut. I can remove this just by clicking on that red. And what I will do is I will just come here under the transform and I will do what? I will look for, under the home, I will look for a choose column. So I will only choose the column that are relevant to me. So choose columns. So I will only choose the columns that are relevant to me. So I don't need the role ID. I will leave it out. Which other thing do I think I don't need here? I'm going to leave the postal code, the region. I don't think I need the discount and the quantity. So I want to leave it. I want to remove them. Boom. And I'll press OK. So in that case, some columns has been removed. And also from here, I can extract, I can do a text to column. From here, I can do a what? A text to column. And in doing that, you can see that if I do a text to column, I can separate using the required delimiter. So what do I mean by this? If I right click here and I said split columns by delimiter. So I will just use the hyphen. It has already seen that for me, and I'll press OK. And you see it splits into columns for me. So I can rename each of this depending on my interest. And I can still maintain the original that I have. So if I don't want the steps again, I can remove it. So just to show you how to use split by delimiter. More so, I have the other date, I have the ship date and all this other date. So once I remove what I don't need, and I don't think I need to split any text to column, I can remove the duplicate just by highlighting on everything that I have. So I can remove the duplicate. So when I highlight on everything,